So far, mostly smooth sailing for what could be the busiest Thanksgiving travel season in more than a decade. Some 73 million Americans are projected to hit the roads for the holiday. Another 6 million taking to the friendly skies.
We've already seen icy winter weather conditions making an impact. You see just what the general vibes look like out on the roads in some of these spots, but that weather forcing an hour-long ground stop at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. The frosty storm is plunging temperatures just as families prepare to gather for that warm holiday meal. I want to bring in CNN's Pete Montine, who's been watching the crowds at Reagan National Airport. So Pete, how are they handling what is usually a pretty frantic time of year?
Everyone's taking it pretty well in stride. You know, I've been talking to passengers who are going to Alabama, to Texas, to North Carolina, Michigan, really all over. And they say that you really just have to be patient, especially right now, as the lines are building here at the end of the day, here at the Terminal 2 North Checkpoint. It's taking about 5 minutes, according to the airport, to get through the TSA checkpoint here. And this is just one of many that will see so many people traveling today. 2.7 million people anticipated at airport checkpoints in total. One of the big new things that is happening, this is the first time during a holiday rush, is you no longer have to take your shoes off at TSA. That was changed over the summer, a 20-year-long rule, essentially marginalizing the need for pre-check. Now you can keep your shoes on in the standard lanes, which is a huge difference here at TSA checkpoints across the country. The drama has been relatively minimal when it comes to delays. We've seen them climb into the thousands today. The cancellations have remained in the hundreds. The ground stop at Chicago O'Hare is now over. It is transitioned into what's called a ground delay, so planes being held on the ground a little bit longer. And you can see even on the departures board here, Chicago O'Hare delayed 3:20, delayed 2:30, delayed 5 p.m. It's a bit of an inconvenience because that's going to impact a lot of people making connecting flights. It's a huge connecting airport for American and United. But I want you to listen now to some of the travelers I've talked to who say they're really just rolling with it. Mostly nuisance level stuff for them, not major chaos. Listen.
You got to be flexible and roll with it. And if an opportunity presents, which was this, because it was nonstop, I took it.
Don't check bags in. It'll save you some time. Try to travel light if possible, but also, be kind to others. Let people pass if they're trying to catch a quick connection, and just keep it simple.
This is around the time that a lot of people wish they were flying because the traffic is going to be red across the board in so many places. AAA says in some major metro areas on Wednesday evening, with the traffic of the holiday mixing in with the traffic of those coming home from school and coming home from work, it could be 3 or 4 times the norm, what we see normal day. Bakersfield to LA, huge route on the 5. They say driving from LA, it could take about 150% of the normal length of that trip. San Diego to Palm Springs, 80% longer. And so we are now sort of in the thick of it when it comes to traffic, and we're not totally out of the woods yet for what's been generally a smooth sailing set of few days here for air travel.
Pete, I'm wondering if anybody has come up and given you a hug. Have you had any visitors? Has the call for someone to go to Ben's Chili Bowl and get Pete Montine Glizzy been fulfilled? Has anybody brought you a hot dog, Pete?
I have to, if I'm the mayor of DCA, our mascot is Lola, who is, there is passengers 2- and 4-legged here at DCA. This is producer Nikki Robertson's dog, who's now shaking now that I put her on the camera. Sorry, Lola, she's been well behaved all day. Things are pretty good. I've had a lot of visitors, and it's good to have Lola too. She's a good sport. And sorry, Lola, didn't mean to make your CNN debut just like this, but hey, you got to get it where you can.
Live TV, folks.
Bring Lola and Pete a hot dog if you can. Pete Montine from DCA,
yeah, that's
thank
right.
you so much.
I think Lola would take chicken nuggets.
As would most of us. Thanks, Pete.
And joining us now with some tips to make your Thanksgiving travel a little easier is Eric Rosen. He is the director of travel content at The Points Guy. Hi, Eric. Thanks for being here. So, we've got the weather situation. We are less than 2 weeks out from the end of the government shutdown, where we saw countless flights delayed or even canceled. What is your view on what travelers can expect right now?
Well, sure. As Pete and Allison were saying, obviously weather is going to be a big factor. Today is a very big travel day, though we project Sunday and Monday to actually be the biggest travel days this Thanksgiving holiday. So bottom line, give yourself plenty of time. Try to leave at those less busy times of day. Try to hop on earlier flights in the day. But the good news is, since the shutdown ended, air traffic has pretty much rebounded. We haven't seen any major delays or cancellations that haven't had to do with things like weather. So staffing issues and stuff like that haven't been an issue. So travelers should hopefully expect a smooth ride as long as they're not going through one of those airports affected by major weather issues at the moment.
So the FAA expects that this will be the busiest Thanksgiving in 15 years. What can travelers do, or say, parents with 3 kids do to ensure that they make their flight in time to get where they're going? How early should they get there?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, this is one of the most expensive times to travel. If you're taking the whole family, you want to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. So give yourself time. Do you know what I mean? You get to the airport as early as you want to. Be on dad airport time, as we like to say. Get there 3 hours early for your flight, just because you don't know what lines are going to be like, what other snarls there are going to be. And then you can also check the MyTSA app just to see what security lines are like at the airports you're traveling through. And if you're noticing that those times are creeping up, get to the airport even earlier.
Wow, 3 hours? Oh my goodness. I'm like one of those people. I get there and basically have like a minute of spare time. I'm really bad about that, so I'm gonna have to work on that. Flying with the kids.
I am with you. Go grab a meal or a coffee, take a little extra time.
All right, good advice, good advice. All right, so speaking of flying, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is encouraging more civility among passengers this Thanksgiving. Let's take a listen.
How do we, maintain maybe some of that frustration we have as we travel this Thanksgiving season? Maybe we should say please and thank you to our pilots and to our flight attendants. Maybe dressing with some respect. Whether it's a pair of jeans and a decent shirt, I would encourage people to maybe dress a little better, which encourages us to maybe behave a little better. Let's try not to wear slippers and pajamas as we come to the airport.
What did you make of that, and do you expect it will make much of a difference?
I mean, honestly, no. People are going to dress how they're going to dress. I think it is a good reminder, though. You've probably paid a lot for your ticket. This is one of the biggest travel weeks of the year. Everybody else around you has also paid a lot of money to be traveling. It's stressful. You're around a lot of strangers, and obviously, you don't want things to get canceled. So just remember that we're all sort of gliding in towards the end of the year. Remember, everyone around you is a human. It's the holidays, and just act with a little more kindness in your heart. I would say it's gonna improve everybody's day.
All right, Eric Rosen, thank you so much. Great to have you on, and happy Thanksgiving.